including Dr. McCullough, who talked about things you can do to perhaps block some of the bad stuff that you're taking in from the vaccine. I want you to talk about maybe detoxing. You had a great idea about this. Talk about that.
Well, listen, Dr. Peter McCullough, who is arguably the world's leader in everything related to COVID vaccines, and COVID treatment, who's a friend of mine, has started talking a lot about vaccine detox. When you take the COVID vaccine, it's not actually a vaccine, but nonetheless, when you take the COVID jab, it's the only time in human history that we've asked the machinery of our body, of the cells, to create a non-human protein. And that's the spike protein that this vaccine forces our body to take. Unfortunately, a lot of people, when they take this, hopefully only once because they were forced to do it, but many people have taken boosters multiple times. This spike protein can wreak havoc in our body. It's very, very inflammatory. And we're seeing athletes that are being injured, dropping on the practice field and on the playing field. And so he being Dr. McCullough, has created, along with others, a strategy for removing the spike protein and detoxing from the vaccine, if you will. There's a variety of ways of doing that. It starts with a product that's commercially available over the counter, no prescription needed, called natto, N-A-T-T-O kinase, natto kinase. It's an enzyme that can dissolve the spike protein. Now, the challenge is we don't have a commercially available mechanism to actually measure the amount of spike protein you have in your blood. That's being developed by Dr. Ryan Cole, pathologist. And so it's speculation now that you're vaccinated, you have this spike protein, and we want to remove it. So we remove it with a combination of nattokinase and other enzymatic products to dissolve the spike protein, and then products to reduce inflammation. And by the way, if you go on my Instagram or my website, I've got a protocol set up there, variation on the theme of what Dr. McCullough recommends. Nobody really knows for sure how to do this, but there are a lot of ideas out there about how to do this. The question I really have is, it's obvious if you were vaccinated and you have symptoms that you ought to do something. What's less clear is the millions of people that were vaccinated and, thank God, feel okay and don't have symptoms. But I get questions all the time, worries all the time. I received a vaccine or two. I think I feel okay. I see these athletes and others that suddenly drop over. What do I do to prevent myself from having that happen, a bad result in the future? It's less clear whether we should just be taking everybody that got vaccinated, whether they feel good or not, and instituting some sort of protocol. So it really needs to be individualized. Check with your own doctor. rxforliberty.com, my website. There's a link to the protocol. Instagram, RX for Liberty on Instagram. I have a link to that protocol. They're all over-the-counter products. I use a supplement umbrella company called Fullscript that makes it really easy to order these things. Dr. McCullough uses his own. So it's out there. Consult with your own doctor. Consult with somebody that knows what they're doing as far as detox protocols and strategies for removing a spike protein from your blood.